Hello again, Andy with Handy Andy Handyman and Handy Andy on Demand, and welcome back to a project look-see over in Town Lake. We do so much work in Woodstock. We've got crews over here at least 4 or 5 times a week. In fact, last year we just totally redid the exterior of a house just up around the corner from this street, the Ziegler's house. And today we're further in the neighborhood a little bit. And it's a lot of the same stuff. And so on this particular house, they've got some rot and they want to get the house repainted. And so they give us a call to do that. And so you can kind of see as you look at the gutters right here, somebody at some point installed these gutter helmets. And it doesn't hurt you to have those things, but what they don't tell you is you got to hand clean that edge every year. Otherwise, the first year, they're great. After that, they're ineffective. And you can see that by all the streaking on the gutters. And that's led to some of the rot in different places around the house. And so after a while, you know, for the homeowners watching this video, this may be the first time they're seeing these kind of things. If you're a subscriber to a channel or you're a previous customer, you're going to see a lot of the same things over and over again. This is a synthetic stucco house on the front, and it is a LP siding house around the rest of it. Most of the siding's in good shape, except for the chimney, which someone installed some Nietzsche siding. We'll show you that in a second. So up on this foyer right here, on the foyer window, the nose is rotted right here, the outside piece. And the bottom corners right here are the brick mold. We just call it mold in the bids. Left and rights are rotted, so we just piece them in. And then the painters will catch, actually the carpenters will catch this crack in the stucco right here and seal it up. Anywhere you see black on your house, it's costing you money. So like here, when the builder did this, they scabbed in 3 pieces of wood to make this triangle right here, which we call a dog ear. And they usually rot out. That one isn't rotted, so we'll just recaulk it. Any wood, what's kind of different about Handy Andy is any wood that's rotted that we replace, we back prime and seal it all the way around. And so like here in this lower window, part of what's happening is from this little mansard roof, the water just skips down and bumps and it hits right here, down at the edge down here. But also just like a lot of these other houses that you'll see in the videos, you see the metal flashing right here and right here? It should be cut over 3/4 of an inch to 1.5 inches past the edge of this brick mold. And you see it's flush, and in this window it's actually cut short. And then the moldings themselves weren't caulked, so the water's leaking in, and that's where it gets down here and it rots the nose and it rots, the sill is rotted here. And the same thing on this window right here. The sill is what the window sits on, and then this outer piece is the nose. This brick mold on either side is rotted. So instead of replacing the whole piece, we just cut in what's bad, and we make a weather cut, an angled 45 cut. We back prime the wood, we seal it back up, and you're good to go. We've got a 3-year warranty on any of our wood repairs, but in reality, if it rots again, just call us. Because we do everything except air conditioning and swimming pools, even when we come out for a warranty repair, it just really becomes a sales call, unfortunately, because you got more stuff for us to do. We're doing the bathroom, we're doing the kitchen, or whatever you want. This window right here just needs to be cleaned. It's a single paned window. It looks like it's thermopane, but it's not. When we paint the house in some areas, we'll come back like here. You can see the glazing is pulled on this window. A lot of homeowners like these folks that have single pane windows will get talked into changing all the windows out for thermopanes based on energy efficiency and some tax credits and all that nonsense. Don't do it. Don't fall for that. Unless you want windows that you can tilt in and clean, there's no reason to update these windows. Just seal them, clean them, reglaze them, fix the rot like here. We're the only company in Atlanta that'll fix in this left window. The sash up here is rotted, and it's rotted down here too in this corner. So you just come around the corner, you see the rot. So we'll repair all of that. Someone's come out here and caulked with silicone caulk, which have to be ripped out anyway because it's not paintable. And part of what happened with this window at one point is there's a sprinkler head right here, right there. So whenever that sprinkler was on, where do you think the water's going? In here. And when you look against the nose, like in here, see that black line? It was never caulked. It was never caulked. It was never caulked. So every time water came, it just sucks it up in there like a sponge. These folks are probably close to needing a roof. And we'd recommend Findlay and Christian Brothers. You know, come out and give them quotes. They're both great companies. We do repairs, but we don't do new roofs. But this one is about to its age now. So it'd be a good idea to budget for it. On the right side window, someone's repaired this window before. And you can see up here where the flashing is cut totally short. It's not even covering the wood here. It has an okay length over there, but see how it's stepped in? So the boys will try to fix that when they're out here too. This fascia board right here has rotted right in this corner right here. And then there's a dog ear around the other side that's rotted. This window's not rotted, but it's going to. And again, all you need to do is look for this black. If you see the black in the sash or here, all this needs to be caulked. And the painters don't do it. This house has been painted 3, 4, 5 times. It's never been caulked properly. And that's what stinks for homeowners. On the right side, you can kind of see what's going on with this gutter helmet up here. See all the spillover? And then you've got the rotted fascia right here and the rotted dog ear behind it. That little triangle is what we call a dog ear. So we can replace that. Siding here is good, and we just did a job in Chimney Springs where the homeowner had like 10 or 12 quotes, and we were the only guys that came out and said, your siding's fine, we just need to do some replacements. But everybody wanted that $30,000, $40,000 siding job instead of, I think we ended up doing about $4,000 or $5,000 worth of repairs, and then we hand painted it. The house looks great. The customers were happy, and life rolls on. These windows are good over here. The fascia's good. It just needs to be cleaned up and painted again. When we get back to this back window back here is where you start to see some of it. And here's just a lot of splash and water hitting against the side of the house. This nose right here is rotted all the way through. You can see the wrinkling through it right there. The rest of the window seems to be in good shape. We'll know better when we clean it down. When we come around the rear bay, looked in pretty good shape too. It's just dirty from all the splash in the water. And they probably have had a dog out here sometimes. When we get to the chimney, that's where you start to see stuff. And so this siding's been replaced once already. This is Nichihana siding. And at this point, we talk about it all the time, but Hardy Plank will never do that. But there's so much water that gets in this corner, and because it's a cheaper product and they didn't seal the bottom edge, it's literally crumbled and fallen apart. So right now they're getting water inside the house, and there's no kick out flashing at the end of this gutter into this piece of siding on either side, and that led to more of the rot down here. So even though someone replaced some of the siding, they didn't use Hardy Plank, they used the Nichihana siding, so it all needs to be replaced. And you can see it down here at the bottom where it's starting to delaminate, and it'll just crumble and fall apart. You can see the rot in the corner board right here. That's not bad. We just repair the corner board, but all the chimney on the siding will go. Now it's funny because whoever did this corner back here, that looks like that's a piece of Hardy back there. It looks like the next piece of siding up or two rotted, and they didn't do anything about it because the gas line for the fireplace is there. But you can get a closer look at this, the Nichihana right there. It's just crumbled and disintegrated. And we had a lady on the other side of Woodstock last year who cussed me out and said that I was evil because she asked me to repair a couple of boards on the chimney. She couldn't get her original contractor. We went out. I didn't know she'd only replaced the whole chimney 2 years before and spent a fortune on it, like $8,000 or something crazy. Chimneys like this are $2,000 to $3,000 typically. And the guy used Nichihana. It was all crumbling. You put your fist right through it. We had to reframe the chimney and everything else. So all of this siding has to go. This is Nichi here. And you can see where it's starting to swell right here on this board. See the thickness? That's Nichi. And then this is back to the LP siding right here. And really it's wood chips and glue. And so when you get moisture into it, it swells like a sponge. And part of the problem is they've got gutter helmets on top of here that weren't cleaned. And they've got no kick out flashing. That's why you have all this debris here. So for their house right here, they'd be better to get these gutter helmets off and just pay a company like ours, you know, $90, $120 a shot to come out and clean the gutters twice a year and avoid all this problem. She's got a little bit of rot. She's got 4 rows of rotted siding right in here against this window. But the rest of it with hand painting and good caulking, siding's good. They don't need to replace it. And you watch, they'll get 3 or 4 guys that'll come out and say, oh no, you gotta get rid of all your siding and it'll only be $289 a month for 20 years. That's what they do. They sell financing. It doesn't sound like a lot till you add it all up, but I'm more from the school of if you don't need to replace it, don't. So the backside through here is all pretty good. You can see all the debris along that gutter, and that lets you know you're trouble. Again, look at the right side where they put that Nichihana. You can put your hand right through all of that. You know, and someone's done some work before because like this piece right here, this has been replaced, this dog ear. The left side window right here replaced the rotted nose, and the brick mold is where they put spray foam in here. Be really, really careful using spray foam. This is probably the master bedroom, I'm guessing. Don't use spray foam anywhere where you've got gas appliances in your house or you've got a closed storage room behind here. We had a customer a few years ago that did that, and it actually caught the house on fire. When you look at the LP siding over here, they've got 5 rows that run all the way to the front of the garage that are just rotted and need to be replaced. That's the biggest chunk of siding on their house that needs to be repaired. We see so many of these. We see 8 to 10 homeowners a day. And you can see the wrinkling in their siding, and that's when you know it's bad. So here it's really obvious. But you can't piece it in, so you end up replacing the whole row. When you get to a window like this, you'll see hundreds of our videos where we've made this repair. We're the only company in Atlanta that'll do this. We'll actually router out the bad wood. So when you see the wrinkling like this, it lets you know it's rotted. We just did one up in Bridge Mill where we do a ton of work as well, and same thing, except it was up on the 2nd story. And his window was 4 or 5 times the size of this. They quoted him $2,800 to replace it. We repaired it for like $300 or $400. But this is what costs you the money, is the failed caulk. So if the painters had caulked this you never would have had all this rot. And the same thing down here. That black line is where the caulk failed, and then it's been sucking wood. So you see the wrinkle right there? You can see the wood's moving under my finger because there's nothing left anymore. And when you let that stuff go, it ends up getting in your frame. You've got water rot inside the framing, in the wall cavity, and then you've got mold and mildew as well. And again, you can see this so many times. See the wrinkling right here? Watch. See? As soon as you see that wrinkle, you just know it's rotted. So that's a piece of brick mold on either side, and it just because they didn't caulk it properly. So if you take the time, and it's really hard. So the only time we'll spray paint a house is if a customer's selling the house. But on houses like this, we always come back in and hand paint the houses.
Bedroom window, and I gotta work tonight.
It's okay. So that ends up how we do this stuff. Anyway, that's pretty much how we do it. That'll be a wrap up for these guys right here. I'm Andy at Handy Andy, 770-912-2829, or sometimes you can catch us online at 770-265-9017. Thanks. Bye for now.